How did it happen that a king who was highly respected in the Islamic world, known for his bravery against the West, was suddenly killed by his own nephew? Was this simply an act of revenge, or was there a stronger force that wanted to remove him? On March 25, 1975, the whole world was shocked by the news that King Faisal bin Abdul Aziz, a leader who bravely challenged America and Israel, was assassinated and lost his life right inside his own palace. And the perpetrator was none other than his own nephew, Prince Faisal bin Musaid. According to the Saudi government itself, the attack was carried out by an individual with a personal motive, but many believe that there was a bigger conspiracy behind this incident, from allegations involving the CIA, conflicts within the royal family, to possible revenge because of King Faisal's strict policies. What really happened on that day? Was it a simple crime or just part of a bigger plan? Was it his courage against the West? Was that the reason why he was killed? Was it a simple act of revenge, or was there a stronger force that wanted to remove him? In this video, we will examine the complete chronology, the motives, the shocking conspiracy theory, and the huge impact of King Faisal's death. But before we start, if you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. Faisal bin Abdul Aziz was born on April 14, 1906 in Riyadh, during a time of great change in the region that would later become Saudi Arabia. He is the son of King Abdul Aziz, the founder of the country, and his mother, Tarfa binti Abdullah, who came from a well-known family of Islamic scholars. He lost his mother at a young age, which led him to seek guidance from his grandfather, a respected Islamic scholar who shaped his outlook, character, and leadership. In their family, Faisal was known as a quiet, intelligent child with a natural sense of authority. Unlike his other siblings who were more outspoken and expressive, Faisal was observant and always thought before he spoke. Because of this, his father saw him as an heir with great potential. Even at a young age, important responsibilities were entrusted to him. At the age of 20, he was made the commander of the military of Hijaz, a very important position that tested his leadership abilities. By 1926, he was appointed as the governor of Hijaz, the region that includes Mecca and Medina. This is where the reforms and modernization began, which demonstrated his skill in governance and organization. In 1932, when the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was officially established, Faisal more frequently represented his father in diplomatic matters. He became the first Minister of Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia, establishing relations with powerful countries such as England and the United States, while continuing to maintain his position as a leading and courageous voice in the Islamic world, especially on the issue of Palestine. When King Abdulaziz passed away in 1953, his son Saud bin Abdulaziz ascended to the throne. However, King Saud's government faced many challenges, particularly in the economy and political tensions within the kingdom. During that time, Faisal, who was serving as prime minister, was gradually taking control of the government. In 1964, due to pressure from the ulama and the royal family, King Saud was forced to abdicate the throne. At that time, Faisal was formally elected as the king of Saudi Arabia. From then on, he began major reforms, from the modernization of the economy to foreign policies that sometimes opposed Western interests. Under his leadership, the country rapidly developed its infrastructure, including the construction of roads, power lines, and communication systems. He also introduced modern education, established schools, and opened opportunities for women to study, a move that at that time was considered controversial. Aside from this, he strengthened the oil and gas sector through the nationalization of the oil industry, which reduced dependence on foreign companies. This policy not only enriched Saudi Arabia, but also gave it significant influence in the global arena. In 1973, the world witnessed one of the most significant events in the history of geopolitics. After America and other Western countries clearly supported Israel in the Yom Kippur War, King Faisal took a drastic step by stopping the export of oil to the United States and its allies. This caused a global energy crisis. Oil prices soared. There were long lines at gas stations, and the economies of Western countries were plunged into crisis. Faisal wanted to send a message. The Arab world was not just a follower of Western policy. They could stand up and fight back. Because of this move, he became known as a brave leader of the Islamic world who fought against Western domination. But of course, this also brought him many enemies. Since childhood, Faisal was combative and a clear supporter of Palestine. For him, the occupation of Palestine's land by Israel was an insult to the Islamic world. As a king, he not only delivered powerful speeches, but also provided financial and military support to groups fighting for Palestine. In 1969, he also initiated the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, an alliance of Muslim countries aimed at countering the influence of Israel in the West. He united the Muslim countries and believed that the Islamic world should stand together against global injustice. However, his strong stance against Israel and the oil embargo drew more anger from the West and Zionists. On March 25, 1975, it was an ordinary morning in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. There were no signs of danger and no warning. But within just a few seconds, the burst of gunfire shook the entire palace. On that day, King Faisal was in the Riyadh Palace. He was busy with his duties as the highest leader of Saudi Arabia. And as usual, he was receiving guests in a royal audience. A tradition where officials, visiting guests, and members of the royal family come to meet the king. Among those who arrived, there was one not-so-noticeable guest, Prince Faisal bin Musaid, the king's own nephew. No one saw anything unusual about his presence, and he was part of the royal family. When it was his turn to meet the king, Prince Faisal approached. The king greeted him warmly, as he would with family. But in an instant, a terrible event occurred. Suddenly, Prince Faisal grabbed a weapon and pointed it directly at the king's head, firing twice at close range. King Faisal immediately fell, the palace was shocked, the guards panicked, and some hurried to catch the perpetrator, while others were trying to save the king. According to a report, there was a royal guard who tried to attack Prince Faisal with his sword. However, he was stopped by Sheikh Ahmad Saki Yamani, the oil minister at that time, who said, "Don't do that, we need to find out who is behind this." King Faisal was immediately brought to the hospital, but he did not survive. He passed away shortly after the attack. Why did the nephew kill his own uncle, a king who was respected throughout the Islamic world? According to the Saudi government, they have an answer to that, but is it reasonable? After the disturbing incident on March 25, 1975, the Saudi Arabian government quickly released a statement. According to this, Prince Faisal bin Musaid was said to have a mental illness, and he acted alone because of his unstable mental condition. According to reports from the royal family since he returned from the United States, where he studied and lived, Prince Faisal has shown strange and unexpected behavior. According to the government statement, the aim is to convince the public that the assassination of King Faisal was the act of an individual who was not of sound mind and not part of a larger conspiracy. However, there is another explanation that the government did not present revenge. A few years before the incident, Prince Faisal's brother, Khalid bin Musaid, was killed in an encounter with Saudi's security forces. Khalid, a prince who opposed the king's modernization efforts, especially in the fields of education and the role of women in society, was involved in movements against the government that eventually led to his attack and death. According to the official version, Prince Faisal never accepted his brother's death. When he had the chance to face the king, he used the moment to take revenge. But the question is, was the assassination really just the simple act of a mentally ill person seeking personal revenge? Or were there other forces controlling things from behind the scenes? Was this simply the revenge of a prince? Or was it part of a larger conspiracy to remove a brave leader who fought against the world's powers? After the death of King Faisal, many people sensed that there was something unusual about the case. Many parties believed that this was not just the act of a mentally ill person or a simple act of revenge. But there was a stronger force that wanted King Faisal gone, a king who suddenly dared to challenge America. A surprising connection is that in 1973, King Faisal led the oil embargo against the United States and its allies. in response to their support for Israel in the Yom Kippur War. Because of this, the Western economy was plunged into crisis. Oil prices soared and inflation increased. Oil prices rose sharply and many countries faced an energy crisis. It's clear that the United States suffered losses because of this move, and this could possibly be the reason for retaliation. There are some speculations saying that the CIA was interested in ousting King Faisal and replacing him with a leader who was more pro-Western, especially since Prince Faisal bin Musaid, who killed the king, lived in the United States for several years. Some believe that during that time, he may have been recruited or influenced by foreign agents to carry out a specific mission. But even if the involvement of foreigners is true, it's unlikely that they acted alone. Not all members of the Maharlika family agree. Regarding King Faisal's policies, some feel that the modernization he is implementing is too fast and might destroy Islamic traditions. There are also others who worry that his policy towards relations with the West, which has long been a main ally in the economy and security, is risky. What is alarming and remarkable is that after King Faisal was killed, his brother Khalid bin Abdul Aziz immediately ascended to the throne. There was no major political turmoil, which made the flow of all events very smooth. Is it possible that there is a deeper reason behind these events? Or was it simply an accident in the fate of a leader who bravely defended Palestine? All over the world, King Faisal was one of the bravest and most vocal Muslim leaders supporting Palestine. He openly opposed Israel's aggression, strongly condemned their actions against the Palestinian people, and called Zionism a threat to the Muslim world. His financial and political support for groups fighting in Palestine made him a primary enemy of Israel and their allies. History has also proven that leaders who oppose the interests of Zionism often end up in tragedy. Is it possible that King Faisal was among them? We may never know the whole truth, but one thing is clear. The death of King Faisal was not an ordinary event. It could have been foreign cooperation, betrayal from within the palace, or other scenarios that have not yet been revealed. One certain fact is that the world lost one of the most dangerous and bravest Muslim leaders. After the incident on March 25, 1975, Prince Faisal bin Musaid was immediately apprehended at the scene of the crime. He did not resist or try to escape, as if he knew that this was destined for him. However, it is remarkable to note that even though this was the assassination of the top leader of Saudi Arabia, the trial process was actually very swift. In a country like Saudi Arabia, which is known for having very little government transparency, there was very little information about the trial. There was no extensive media coverage, no lengthy debates. Just a few months after the assassination, Prince Faisal bin Musaid was found guilty and sentenced to death. And if you're asking why the process was so fast, it's possible that the government wanted to close the case quickly before bigger questions could arise. Maybe they just didn't want anyone to be surprised or to find out the real truth behind what happened. On June 15, 1975, just over 2 months after the assassination, Prince Faisal bin Musaid was executed in public in Riyadh. He was executed in front of the public, just like other executions in Saudi Arabia. There was no petition for pardon, no political negotiation. An ending that seemed too neat, too quick, and too systematic. Usually in such big cases, the investigation process takes years, especially if the killing happened to a king. But in this case, everything ended within just a few months, as if there was a force that didn't want this incident to drag on. There's a theory that says Prince Faisal was not aware that he was being used. It's possible that there was a force or an individual who pushed him to carry out the assassination. And once his mission was done, he was immediately eliminated so he couldn't speak anymore. If true, this force successfully hid the only person who could reveal the truth. Through death, the case of King Faisal's death was officially brought to a close. No further investigation, no other theory was discussed by the government. Just one conclusion: a mentally ill prince killed the king. Just a few hours later, Khalid bin Abdul Aziz was announced as the new king of Saudi Arabia. Unlike King Faisal, who was known for his strong will and firm beliefs, King Khalid was more passive and less involved in foreign politics. He was more focused on internal stability and on continuing the economic policies established by King Faisal. However, many believe that Khalid was more of a symbolic leader. The real government was led by the heir to the throne, Fahd, who would become king after Khalid. Under the leadership of King Faisal, Saudi Arabia boldly stood up to the West through the oil embargo and pro-Palestine policies. But under the new king, the focus was on stability and economic continuity, not bold foreign policy. But after his death, there was a slow but clear change in Saudi Arabia's position. Gradually, the country began to move closer to the United States again. The oil embargo was no longer used as a political weapon, and the country's focus shifted from opposing the West and fighting the oil industry to a more pragmatic policy. In an indirect way, the Western countries that previously suffered losses because of King Faisal's decisions benefited. And the question is, was this simply a coincidence, or did his death pave the way for policies that were more favorable to foreign interests? During King Faisal's time, the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States was full of tension. But after his death, the relationship became smoother and friendlier under the leadership of King Khalid. Saudi Arabia became closer to the US in terms of economy and military, and its role as a global oil producer became more controlled by global interests. Support for Palestine remained, but it was more moderate compared to the time of King Faisal. Many believe that King Faisal was the only obstacle to Western domination in the Middle East, and when he was gone, the influence of the United States on the kingdom's policies became stronger. The death of King Faisal was not only the end of his life, but it also greatly changed the direction of Saudi Arabia's policies. And the question is, was this a natural change after the death of a leader? Or was there a powerful force that planned all of this? Now that we have examined all the facts and theories, what do you think? Did King Faisal die because of fate or because of a successful conspiracy? Write your opinion in the comments section below. Do you believe that this was simply a case of assassination? Or was there a major conspiracy that removed King Faisal for global interests? Let us know in the comments, and if you like this video, don't forget to like it to support us. And subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next video about history and conspiracies. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and we'll see you again in our next video.